I'm here to inform you about the holiday of Halloween. I've always found it to be fascinating and mysterious, and I thought that with the holiday coming up soon, it may be of interest to you. I'm going to inform you about the history, origin of Halloween, and how it became what it is today. Most of my information is from history.com. About 2,000 years ago, the Celtic people celebrated a holiday called Samhain. This holiday was celebrated the night before their new year, which was on November 1st. This holiday included celebrating the end of summer and the beginning of winter. And Celtic lands were considered to be Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France at that time. They believed that the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred on that night, and that the spirits could return to earth. People back then were very superstitious, and they believed that the spirits could cause trouble to them if they when they came back to down to earth on that night. So they would build bonfires and sacrifice animals and crops so that the spirits wouldn't cause them any trouble. They also wore costumes at that time of animal skins. According to the Archaeology Institute of America, on this evening, people also felt that they were privy to, excuse me, aid and knowledge from the spirits. On In 43 AD, the Romans took over the Celtic lands, and along with Samhain, added two other holidays. One was called Feralia, which celebrated the passing of the dead, and another was called Pomona, which celebrated the goddess of fruit and trees. Her symbol was an apple, and many people believe that apple bobbing got its origin from this particular holiday. Religion also played a really big factor at this time. Pope Boniface IV created a holiday called that celebrated Christian martyrs in 609 AD. This was celebrated in May at the time. And Pope Gregory III took that holiday and added saints onto it. So saints and martyrs were celebrated, and he moved it to November 1st in the AD 700s. This was so that maybe the holiday wouldn't be as wild and crazy, and it would take a little bit more of a Christian undertone. So Christianity was definitely taken with by the Celts. They really believed and really spread. All Souls Day ended up being the official holiday, and it was on November 2nd. All Hallows Eve was celebrated on the night before November 1st, and All Souls Day, of course, was celebrated on November 2nd. And this eventually, All Hallows Eve became Halloween. We were back to bonfires and costumes because people didn't want to let go of their holiday, even though they believed and were Christians. They still wanted to have Halloween. Halloween moved to America, and in the North they were a little bit more rigid and in their beliefs. So the European influence spread a little bit more and was more receptive in the South. The holiday became a little bit more about kids, but vandalism and parties really took place on that night as well. And neighbors, to prevent vandalism on their homes, used to give treats to the neighbors so that nothing would happen to their home. And that is where trick or treat got its origin. People gave treats so that they wouldn't get tricks played on their property, which is a really good way of thinking about it. According to MSNBC, $5 billion was spent on Halloween in 2007. And that really makes it a big holiday. In conclusion, whether it was Samhain, All Hallows Eve, or Halloween, this holiday really is a lot older than I thought it was, and really has been a part of our world history, and maybe a great conversation piece for a Halloween party that you go to. And I hope you enjoyed my speech. Happy Halloween!